Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the final section or C block of Cannabis Coast to Coast. I'm Elena Pinto. This is our final reminder that if you want to get access to this newscast every week, easy access, scan the QR code on the screen and download the PCM TV app. Not only can you get access to our weekly roundup of industry news, but also get access to past 3 years of coverage of the fight to end cannabis prohibition in the app content section that features the best of PCM TV shows. With the new Republican control of Congress, the stock market continues to fluctuate, especially in cannabis stocks. It might be a good time to jump now ahead of the speculation on federal reform. Our man who is high on Wall Street is Doug Miller, and he takes a look at Tilray, which might finally be ready to rebound.
I'm Doug Miller from High on Wall Street with this week's Cannabis Stock Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast. The cannabis business hasn't panned out the way many investors expected. So one cannabis company is expanding into another struggling industry, and it's buying up American beer brands. Tilray is now the fifth largest craft brewer in the U.S. by volume, with 18 brands, including Shock Top and Sweetwater. So let's see how this strategy is working with the stock charts. It is trading around $1.34, and it's looking really good as it's curling up. Keep an eye out for any dips because this thing's going to be ripping. And remember to trade smart and lock in those profits. And that's this week's Cannabis Stock Report. Reporting for Cannabis Coast to Coast, I'm Doug Miller.
This is Debbie Facey with the Canadian Coast to Coast Cannabis Report. So what we have in Canada this week is Canada has now created something called the Safer Streets, and it is going to be a stricter penalty when it comes to companies that are advertising and promoting their brands. So in the act of the Cannabis Control Act in 2017, part of that was that no brand was going to be able to advertise or brand out their companies. This meant when it comes to their packaging, their wording, as well as even colors. So now Canada has implemented for individuals to be fined $100,000, while corporations can be fined up to $250,000. Wow. This is aiming for dispensaries to not necessarily rely solely on the advertisements and being able to use more of the pricing. But at the same time, as somebody part of the industry, these penalties are huge. And hopefully the brands that are behind these, that are recognizing that they are being penalized for their usages of words or colors, that they take this seriously because, yeah, Canada's getting pretty strict. So for the one story and for Canada's report, this is Debbie Facey with the Canadian Coast to Coast Cannabis Report. Peace.
In Massachusetts, one of the largest multi-state operators in the world, Curaleaf, has received a license to open the Bay State's first research facility for the study of cannabis. Curaleaf is a publicly traded Canadian stock that operates 150 dispensaries in 19 legal states, but was started in Massachusetts. Curaleaf has a number of adult use and medical stores in Massachusetts and grows a number of popular brands. Curaleaf has been preparing a location in Newton, located just outside of Boston. And finally, after 2 years, it has reached approval of the state's Cannabis Control Commission. On the other side of the industry, business is the single craft grower and dispensaries. And PCM founder Jimmy Young found his way out to one licensee's store in Grafton for a promotional event called Danksgiving.
This is Discerned, a single family-owned, locally operated cannabis dispensary in North Grafton, Massachusetts, a small town just outside of Worcester.
Okay, so it is the weekend before Thanksgiving, and I'm here at Discerned Dispensary in North Grafton, Massachusetts for their Danksgiving. Danks, as opposed to thanks. So Meredith, what the heck is Danksgiving?
Danksgiving is cooler than cool. Sticky, stinky, sweet, potent, the best of the best.
And we're talking about cannabis, not food, right?
Yeah, mostly cannabis, but it stands for everything.
I notice you have a barbecue set up inside. There's nothing like smell-o-vision, so all we can do is describe how good it smells. And the combination of the cannabis smell and the barbecue smell.
So natural, so natural. The best.
How is business today? Are you starting to see people come in here?
Oh yeah, we have some great vendors here. People love coming in for our events, and we love having them.
And that's why Thanksgiving and Danksgiving is so special.
A happy Thanksgiving to all and a special Danksgiving from all of us at PCM TV. I'm Jimmy Young reporting for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
And finally, this week, the story we've been talking about all show long. It's about a woman YouTuber and influencer from California named Rosanna Pansino. She's had billions of views of her baking and food show that she did with her late father, who died 5 years ago from leukemia. And now she's starting a new podcast and decided to really make a splash by smoking a joint made from weed grown by her mother and herself. You see, though, it was a very special strain that was sprinkled with his ashes. Her new podcast is called Ridiculous. There it is. She did her baking show with her father for years, who was known as Papa Pizza. That's cute. Now she explains that her late father used to describe her behavior as ridiculous. So she decided to launch this podcast called Ridiculous. And to honor him, on the first episode, she decided she would fulfill one of his dying wishes, which was to smoke a joint that was grown by his family.
I'm going to smoke my dead dad. And before I do this, so basically, I'm going to take a hit and then I'm going to go outside and my mom and my sister are going to do the same. They wanted to do so off camera, but then my sister might come in and hang out with me and just share some fun stories or memories that we have about dad. We'll just see how we feel. We're just going to play it by ear. You know, there's no rules anymore. Woo. Maybe one more for good measure. I honestly can't believe I'm doing this.
Only in America. She wasn't sure if YouTube would allow her to imbibe on camera, but they did warn her. So far, she has created quite a few viewers. So it's doubtful that the social media platform will shut her down or remove the content from its library. Something many cannabis content producers have to deal with all the time. Well, that's a perfect way to end this week's Cannabis Coast to Coast news show. Since this is Thanksgiving week, we want to wish all of our subscribers and followers a very happy holiday. Plus, we want to remind you all that we have a crew of reporters ready to travel to Las Vegas for MJ BizCon next week. If you are going and want to be interviewed for the MJ BizCon special, you can contact us at info@procannabismedia.com. I'm Elena Pinto. Remember, it's a whole new world of weed out there, so use it responsibly. We'll see you next time.
I think I messed up. Did you know there's a place that covers all the cannabis news you need? Welcome to Pro Cannabis Media, your go-to for all things cannabis. PCM is the CNBC of weed, bringing you the latest news and talk shows with a twist. We've got 16 state correspondents and multimedia journalists from around the US and Canada.
Hey everybody, it's Brandon Jones with Be Green Distribution with the Missouri Cannabis Report.
I'm Karen Black from Greenfinger Consulting with the Arizona Cannabis Report.
I'm Amy Carter from Michigan Weedsters.
Andrew Behringer here reporting from Washington, D.C.
It's Debbie Facey with the Canadian Toke of the Week.
It all started back in 2018 when founder Jimmy Young kicked off the In the Weeds podcast. His mission? Documenting the fight to end cannabis prohibition. Fast forward to today and we've got Cannabis Coast to Coast with Elena Pinto, delivering the nation's only TV-style cannabis news show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Cannabis Coast to Coast, PCM TV's weekly roundup of industry news from California to New York. I'm Elena Pinto.
As of August 2024, PCM has racked up over 1.2 million views and 14.5 million impressions on our YouTube channel. With 15,000 subscribers and growing, our reach is spreading like wildfire. PCM's website, YouTube, Rumble, Discord, Roku, Twitch, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and even our very own PCM TV app. Get your cannabis news fix with Pro Cannabis Media. We're here to keep you informed and entertained. Stay tuned and stay lifted.